Good evening, respected Chief Guest, Honorable Justice R. Devdas, Judge of High Court of Karnataka, esteemed guests of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice N. Kumar, former Judge of High Court of Karnataka, and Mr. V. Sudesh Pai, eminent jurist and lawyer. Professor Jose P. Varghese, member of our advisory board and former Vice Chairman, Central Administrative Tribunal of the Principal Bench at New Delhi. All distinguished guests, Reverend Father Babu Paul, CMI, Manager of Christ Academy Education Institutions and Principal of Christ Academy Institute for Advanced Studies, Reverend Father Dr. David Panadan, CMI, Principal of Christ Academy Institute of Law, Ms. Jasmine Joseph, our academic coordinator, faculty members, participants, students, and all other attendees. A very warm welcome to the valedictory ceremony of the first edition of Christ Academy Institute of Law National Moot Court Competition. I, Shruti Prabhakar, will be your master of ceremonies for the session. Before we begin, I would like to bring to the notice of all attendings that this session is being streamed live on YouTube. Please find the link in the chat box if you need to share it with others. Whether it is the beginning or end, we cannot proceed without invoking the blessings of God. So let us begin the ceremony with a Kannada prayer song, which is a Christ Academy Media House production, with music by Reverend Father Joyce, CMI, and lyrics by Sister Joyce Maria, CMI.
Hello, am I audible? I now invite Ms. Bhuvanashri, member of CAIL MOOT Court Committee, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Jirin. Good evening to one and all present here. I, Bhuvanashri, a member of Moot Court Committee, welcomes you all to the valedictory ceremony of the first Christ Academy Institute of Law Moot Court Competition 2020. On behalf of Moot Court Committee, may I welcome our chief guest, Honorable Justice R. Devdas, Additional Judge of High Court of Karnataka. CAIL heartfully welcomes you, sir. Honorable Justice's presence with us is both an encouragement and inspiration for us. Warm welcome to Honorable Justice N. Kumar, former Judge, High Court of Karnataka, to this solemn ceremony. Honorable Justice is a strong pillar in the growth and development of CAIL. A pleasant welcome to Mr. Sudesh Pai, distinguished lawyer and an acclaimed author specializing in constitutional law and administrative law. We are glad to have you with us, sir. CAIL is delighted to welcome Professor Dr. Jose P. Verghese, former Vice Chairman, Central Administrative Tribunal, New Delhi, and member of our advisory board. Cordial welcome to Reverend Father Babu Paul, CMI, Manager of Christ Academy Educational Institutions and Principal of Christ Academy Institute for Advanced Studies. Genial welcome to Reverend Father Viju, Administrator, Christ Academy Group of Institutions. Sincere welcome to Reverend Father Anthony, Finance Administrator. Hearty welcome to Reverend Father Joyce, Principal, Christ Academy Junior College. Reverend Father Arun, CMI, the Vice Principal of Christ Academy CBSE School. Reverend Father Joshua, the Vice Principal of Christ Academy ICSE School. Reverend Father Libin, the Assistant Finance Officer of Christ Academy Group of Institutions. We also welcome our beloved Principal, Reverend Father Dr. Davis Panadan, our Academic Coordinator, Ms. Jasmine Joseph, all faculty members and students of CAIL. Finally, and more importantly, we would like to welcome all the participants and audience who are an integral part of this event. To quote Thomas Jefferson, brevity is best because it leaves no room for inattention by listener. Mooting helps to create brave and confident personality. The challenge and the excitement that one experiences while mooting perhaps cannot be gained in classes. CAIL has made an effort to give such experience through First Christ Academy Institute of Law National Moot Court Competition 2021. And we have gathered here for the valedictory ceremony of the same. I once again welcome one and all on behalf of Christ Academy Institute of Law to the valedictory ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvanashri. I request Ms. Shruti Prabhakar, Faculty Coordinator.
There's a crosstalk. I think I can hear all the calculations going on.
Yes, sir.
Sudesh sir, may I request you to move out of the other court hall? I think your tab might be open.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that better now? Okay.
Shall I continue?
Yes, Charan, please continue.
Thank you. I request Ms. Shruti Prabhakar, Faculty Coordinator, CAIL Moot Court Committee, to give us the competition report.
Thank you, Jared. A very good evening, Honorable Justice Devdas, Honorable Justice N. Kumar, Shri Sudesh Pai, distinguished invitees, participants, and my dear colleagues. It is with immense satisfaction and pride that I stand before you on behalf of the CAIL Moot Court Committee to present forth a report on the competition. The 3-day First Christ Academy Institute of Law National Moot Court Competition 2021 commenced on 25th June with the inaugural ceremony. It was a great honor for us to have Honorable Mr. Justice Kurian Joseph, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, grace the event as the Chief Justice. The Honorable Vice Chancellor of Karnataka State Law University, Professor Dr. P. Ishwara Bhatt, addressed all the participating teams as the guest of honor. The last few days witnessed a total of 40 teams competing with each other for the top honors, while they presented their case on the theme Access to Education Amidst the COVID-19 Pandemic. The competition consisted of preliminary rounds, which were held on 26th June, followed by the top 4 teams competing in the semi-final rounds, which were held on 27th June, and thereafter the final round, which concluded a while back. Apart from the oral rounds, the teams were also scored by external evaluators on the memorials submitted by them. In anticipation of complaints and dissatisfaction that may arise in the organization of such an event, we had a jury of appeal which had tried its best to timely take and deliver their decisions. It was an endeavor by the Moot Court Committee to ensure that all the teams were adjudged by a member from the legal academia and an advocate. There were 20 judges who adjudged the preliminary rounds. It was a privilege for us to have at the semi-final rounds being presided over by Dr. Sairam Bhatt, Professor of Law, National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, Mr. Jahangir Bakshi, Sub-Judge and Special Mobile Magistrate, Badgam, Kashmir, Dr. Shiju MV, Professor of Law, School of Law, Sai University, and Mr. Jagjit Singh, Additional District and Sessions Judge and Special Judge, CBI Court, Chandigarh. It was a matter of immense honor and pride for us to have Honorable Mr. Justice Devdas, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, Honorable Mr. Justice N. Kumar, former Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and Mr. Sudesh Pai, an eminent lawyer and jurist, adjudicate the final round of the competition between the teams. As hosts, this was the first time that we hosted a national level moot court competition, and also a first one which was done online. We sincerely hope that we did justice to the competition. As we await the results, we wish all the teams the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now take the privilege of introducing the chief guest of today's session, Honorable Mr. Justice R. Devadas. Justice Devadas completed his pre-university education and Bachelor of Arts at St. Joseph's Arts and Science College, Bangalore, and Bachelor of Law at Sri Jagadaguru Renukacharya College of Law, Bangalore. Your Lordship started practicing law in the year 1994 in the office of Messrs. Jairam and Jairam Advocates, Bangalore. Thereafter, Justice R. Devadas was appointed as the Principal Government Advocate as an Additional Government Advocate for the state of Karnataka. Your Lordship was appointed as an Additional Judge of the High Court of Karnataka in 2018 and became a permanent judge in 2020. It is with immense pleasure that I call upon the Honorable Justice R. Devadas to deliver the keynote address.
Your Lordship,
Unmute, Your Lordship.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Lordship.
Your Lordship.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Justice N. Kumar, who has been a guiding light, an inspiration to me during my days while I was practicing before him in the High Court. My esteemed friend, Shri Sudesh Pai, who is well known for his articulation and the books he has written, which talk for themselves. Today, I am glad that I was invited for this first national level moot court competition conducted by the Christ Academy Institute of Law. It's indeed my privilege to have been on the panel of judges along with the likes of Justice N. Kumar and my esteemed friend, Mr. Sudesh Pai. Usually, keynote addresses are given before the commencement of a debate or a conference or whatever. And because of this change in the setup, having to conduct the entire competition online, virtually. There has been some changes, and I have been asked to give my keynote address on this occasion. Indeed, I was very happy when I heard about the topic that was chosen for today. No wonder it's a burning issue, a issue which requires a lot of consideration from persons from all walks of society, and more importantly, the legislature and the judiciary. We have all been in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, and it has toppled the entire global living. People have lost their jobs, people have lost their lives, many of the children have been orphaned, and in this situation, there has been a lot of debate regarding the manner in which our education is to be continued. And we have seen the central government as well as the state governments coming up with various ideas as to how to proceed with education. And therefore, the topic that you have chosen as a subject for the moot court competition is very, very relevant, and I need to say that you have done a good job by, first of all, selecting this subject. The debate surrounds the digital divide that we see in our country. We all know that a large section of the society, and when we are talking about education, we are talking about children. A large section of the children are unable to access the internet, and therefore the debate as to whether this kind of system of having online education or virtual education, how far it is going to be of help to the children, is the moot point. Not only for the moot competition, it is the moot question that requires consideration in our society right now. Full stop. There is no doubt that some of the section of the children are not able to access this kind of a virtual education. So therefore, the debate is definitely one that requires a lot of consideration. The right to education, though was enacted in the year 2002, but it was brought into effect from 1/4/2010. And we have seen a lot of litigation, even on that count, the right under the Right to Education Act. There has been a lot of churning process, and a year or 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago, the central government had to rethink about the manner of the implementation of the Right to Education Act. Earlier, the private educational institutions were also roped in to ensure that the children are educated under the Right to Education Act. All this because the governments, be it the central government or the state governments, came across the difficulties financially to implement the objectives of the Act. Now, about a year or year and a half ago, there is a change in the policy, and the government has come to a conclusion that we will try to do it as far as possible in the government institutions only. But now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which no one was prepared for, we are faced with the most difficult challenge that the society had to come across. None of us during our lifespan, or even the lifespan of my parents, they have come across this kind of a problem, where globally a pandemic has raised its ugly head in such a manner that it has affected the life of all the persons, irrespective of their financial capabilities. So therefore, as I said, firstly, I was very happy when I saw that this was the subject chosen. Now, coming to the participants, I should definitely place on record my happiness that the present generation of law students have shown their mettle, their capabilities, and the judicial institution as such has been the beneficiary of such good education, the legal education, and the crop of students that are coming out from the law schools, and the manner in which they are assisting the courts is really commendable. So therefore, I congratulate all the participants who have taken part in this moot court competition, and the winner is definitely eligible for a big round of applause. Not to forget that the participants who may not have won the competition, but their participation and the level of participation is really commendable, and therefore I thank all the students who have taken part in the moot court competition, and the institution, that is the Christ Academy Institute of Law, which has taken its first step in conducting this national level moot court competition. I wish the institution all the best, and to go on with these kind of activities, which would be of immense help to the students. Thank you very much for inviting me for this moot court competition. Thank you very much.
We are really grateful for your lordship, and we hope that the current crop of law students coming out of our college will be able to stand up to the expectations that the judicial institution has. Thank you, your lordship. Honorable Justice N. Kumar, former Judge, High Court of Karnataka, graduated from Vijaya College and obtained his law degree from Renukacharya Law College and a master's degree in political science from Karnataka University. Your Honor has been a member of the Karnataka Bar for 25 years and the assistant editor of Indian Law Reports Karnataka for 6 years. Honorable Justice N. Kumar also is a former president of the Karnataka Judicial Academy. Presently, Your Honor is the executive chairman of the International Center for Alternative Dispute Resolution in Bangalore. It is indeed an honor to have amidst us today with someone with such vast experience and knowledge. I now invite our guest of honor, Honorable Justice N. Kumar, to address the gathering.
Mr. Justice R. Devadas, Mr. V. Sudesh Pai, the honorable members of the Academy, students and participants. probably this is the first time I am also participating in a virtual moot court competition. It was a great experience. Probably a lot of time is saved, and probably the presentation was also more acceptable to us. Let me say, because when you hear it in the open court, there will be diversions. Here it is focused, and we enjoyed the proceedings. Now, the first thing I want to tell the students who have participated in the moot court competition is, you have opted for a 5-year law course. I am sure nobody compelled you to join this course. It is your choice. Having opted this course and studying law for 5 years, no doubt you also spend, your parents spend money, institution also spends its resources, the society, the government also spends money. All this should not go waste. Today, of course, there are several opportunities to the law graduates. In my opinion, when you have opted for this course, a 5-year law course, when it's a professional law course, your first choice should be litigation. Your attempt should be to be a part of the court proceedings and thus strengthen one of the pillars of the Indian democracy, that is the judiciary. Earning money is one thing, and being a part of a government, being a part of a institution is another thing. The satisfaction you will get as a lawyer in assisting a court in administering justice or becoming a judge and administering justice is totally different from the other aspects of legal profession, where probably you can earn much more than what you will earn here. Now, I saw a wonderful performance in a moot court competition. It should not be confined to only moot courts and getting a prize. The main reason for this moot court competition is, even when you are a student, before you enter into the profession, the system wants to see that you are prepared for that eventuality, and you have a wonderful opportunity. Having spent considerable time trying yourself in this, my appeal to the students is, after 5 years, please enter the profession. Enroll yourself. Practice. Your services are required for the society. There's a lot of injustice in the society. Why is a legal profession called a noble profession? The simple reason is, it is only in this profession a lawyer stands out and fights against injustice, fights for a cause. A man who has been done injustice wants justice. He is not capable and competent. Therefore, he seeks the assistance of a lawyer who will be competent. And the satisfaction he gets when a cause is fought, and if he is able to get results, he will worship you next to God. Such a thing will never happen in any other profession, in any other field. So please, you have made the right choice of selecting this level course. Complete the 5-year course. Acquire all qualities which are required for a lawyer. And then please enter the profession. And if you feel probably you are not that tough to withstand the legal profession, you can opt for becoming a judge. And all other options should be only after these 2 things. Then only probably in a country like ours, which is governed by a constitution, we believe in rule of law. The role of a lawyer is very, very important in preserving the unity, integrity of this great land. in most of these moot court competitions, what I see is always they prefer a constitutional issue to be argued. I don't want to go into I have been saying this, but nobody has taken it seriously because I don't know what exactly is the reason. Yes, Constitution is a living document. We are proud to have the best Constitution in the world. And through the constitutional process, the Supreme Court and the High Courts were able to see that justice is done to the common man, neglected section of society, and who are oppressed for centuries. But at the same time, when you are looking into constitutional problems and interpreting a constitutional problem, most of the time we lawyers and judges are very much carried away by the Western concepts. And many times, when you try to introduce those concepts under the Indian Constitution into our society, we have seen great injustice has been done rather than justice. I'm not saying that we should not follow what is Western. What is good there, certainly we will follow. But the society, a Western society, is totally different from an Indian society. The Indian Constitution is meant for the Indian society. No doubt they have taken good principles from all over the world, from various constitutions. Principle, there is no quarrel. But in implementation, whether a lawyer arguing a case or a judge deciding a case, he must keep in mind the society in which we are living, a multiracial society, a multilingual society, a society with a population of 130 crores, and the limited resources we have, and blindly following what the Western society has done and the Western courts have done would be, in my view, would not serve the purpose. I think it's time the lawyers in India who will become judges also will have some knowledge about the customs of this country, the culture of this country, the traditions of this country, and the great history of our country, and keep that in mind while interpreting a constitutional provision and see that justice is done to this population. Because many times the persons who are entering the law course and consequently entering into the judiciary have no idea about the Indian society at all. They are born with a silver spoon. They are brought up in a wonderful culture. They may not know the history of India at all. They are carried away by wonderful Western concepts. And some of them also had education in Western universities. Nothing wrong about all these things. But when you are doing justice to these people of this country, how, to what extent that is applicable is to be seen. Because Indian Constitution is a living constitution. In the last 70 years, we have undertaken 102 amendments. Why? We say our Indian Constitution is the best constitution in the world. No other constitution in the world has undergone 102 amendments in just 70 years. I said the Indian Constitution is a living constitution. What was good in 1950 may not be good in 1970, may not be good in 2010. Because this constitution, the law, everything is meant for the common man, the citizens of this country, and for their welfare of this country. This is an aspect which is how I find missing in the Indian legal education. It's time that the concerned persons take note of this particular aspect. The Indian society, Indian culture, Indian ethos, Indian traditions, and our way of living, and then see that the lawyers and judges, while discharging their duties and in assisting in administrative justice, keep these aspects in mind, and the real justice is done and not justice in paper. That is possible only when you 5-year law students, I'm sure you have the subjects, history, sociology, political science, that is the most neglected subject. The very reason those subjects are introduced into a 5-year law course was we, the law graduates, never studied those subjects. It was found all these subjects are very much necessary for a law student, for to be a successful lawyer or to be a successful judge. And that's why these subjects are introduced. But without understanding why the subjects are introduced and without deeply studying that subject, if you are trying to interpret the law, probably complete justice may not be done. So my appeal to the students community to please study these subjects: economics, political science, history, sociology, and even psychology seriously. And in the background of those subjects, study these law subjects, and then study our constitution. And then probably you will be in a better position to do justice to the profession in which you are, and subsequently when you become a judge, probably you will be doing complete justice. And that's, in my view, is the need of the hour. The stress should be on that. You're all very intelligent, far superior to my generation, capable. Only thing is that intelligence and capacity should be properly channelized to see that through the process of law. Law is a social process. The society and the rights of the citizens in the society are protected, upheld, and a peaceful living is possible through the process of law. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are grateful nature to you as well. We assure you to honor your Honor that we will concentrate on taking what is only required from the West and making sure that the Indian values are not amiss from our midst. Now, I move on to Mr. Sudhish Pai, who is a distinguished lawyer and an acclaimed author, specializing in constitutional law and administrative law. Sir has been practicing law for over 37 years. During this time, Sir has assisted Dr. Durgadas Basu, the world-renowned commentator on constitutional law, in the revision of his commentary on the Constitution. Sir is a contributor to the restatement of Indian law on legislative privileges. Mr. V. Sudhish Pai has been a visiting chair professor, Ashutosh Mukherjee Chair, at the West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences, Kolkata, and a resource person at the National Judicial Academy, Bhopal. For continuing legal education for judges, Sir is also the senior research scholar at Law Commission of Karnataka. Mr. V. Sudhish Pai has contributed to academics, particularly in the area of critical constitutional analysis, and it has been a substantial and significant contribution to the academical area. The Supreme Court and the High Courts have quoted from the work done by Mr. Sudhish Pai on various occasions. These works include, among several others, Legends in Law, Our Great Forebearers, Working of the Constitution, Checks and Balances, Constitutional Supremacy, A Revisit, Essays on Constitutionalism, Rule of Law and Constitutional Adjudication, and more recently, in 2021, Justice M.N. Venkatachalya, The Man and a Judge, a Venkatachalya reader. It is humbling for all of us to have Mr. V. Sudhish Pai as our guest of honor. I now welcome him to address the audience.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Justice Devadas, Honorable Mr. Justice Kumar, Reverend Father Principal, members of the faculty of the Christ Academy Institute of Law, and fellow students. I call you fellow students in the hope that I still continue to learn, because learning is a continual process. As Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, as long as I live, so long do I learn. And if I may give you the example of Sir Jamshedji Kanga, one of our tallest lawyers, tall both figuratively and physically, because he was 6 feet 4 inches tall. And of course, professionally extraordinarily tall. The senior of men like Sirvai and Palkiwala. Even at the age of 90 plus, he said, I'm still learning the law. I do hope that this attitude inspires us and animates all our thinking and working. It has been a great privilege to be part of today's moot court competition, and particularly to be in the same team as my very esteemed friends, Justice Kumar and Justice Devdas. I think we must congratulate the Law College for this very great endeavor. You have brought across teams from all over the country. And even for me, as Justice Kumar said, this is the first experience on online moot courts. Though I have been there for the last 25 years, I have been in this, but this is the first experience online. And I think it has been quite a satisfactory experience. Civilization involves subjecting force to reason. The agency of that subjection is the law. And the students now, as Justice Kumar said, and Justice Devdas said, have chosen law as a profession and as a career. Law, says the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, is the king of kings, far more powerful than they. With its aid, as that is the mightiest monarch, the weak shall prevail over the strong. So that is the essence of law and the legal profession. It is essentially a profession. And I would beseech you, the law students, as Justice Kumar said, that your first choice, and may I say the only choice, has to be the practice of law. Corporate legal work, of course, is very tempting. It is very paying. But I do not know whether it is heartwarming. As Disraeli said, money is not the measure of man. Many times it shows us how small he is. Of course, no one says that you can live on thin air and money is not necessary. But money making, earning is secondary, definitely secondary and not the primary purpose. Because there is much more to life than success and much more to success than money. And law is a great profession. Law is a great discipline. There's hardly anything beyond the ken of law. So great a judge as Justice Cardoso more than 100 years ago said, there's nothing beyond the ken of Our Lady of the Common Law. I, who have been a lifelong devotee, have not been able to kiss the hem of her robe. So that gives us the idea of how vast and receding are the frontiers of law. And anyone who claims that he knows everything must be indeed, may I say, a fool. That's maybe a strong expression, but only that could convey the meaning. All of us are always students, and we ought to be students because learning is a continual process. I would only impress upon the young students who have taken this profession, I hope who would take this profession, that this is a noble profession. This is a profession with great traditions. We are inheritors of a very awesome legacy. And it is for us, our generation and the upcoming generation, to keep the torch bright when it is in our keeping. I would only give you one or two illustrations of some of our great forebears to impress upon you the approach and attitude that you should have and the path that you should take. Way back in the mid-60s, in the Supreme Court, before a bench presided over by Justice Gajendra Khatgar and comprising Justice Subbarao and Justice Bachawat, Mr. Vishwanath Shastri was arguing. Mr. Vishwanath Shastri, I must tell you, is one of our most, of course, he was a judge also for some time in the Madras High Court, or rather in the Andhra High Court, but an extraordinary lawyer. When he was in the midst of arguments, Justice Bachawat, an equally learned judge, learned really, not just for the courtesy, but learned, told him, Mr. Shastri, the contention that you're now putting before us, is it not concluded against you by such and such a decision of the Privy Council? It did not take Mr. Vishwanath Shastri even a minute to respond. He said, precisely, my lord, it is. But that is the only case that has been adversely commented upon in Halsbury's Laws of England, volume so-and-so, page so-and-so. So that was the immediate response, and that can happen only if one is really learned. Because this was too much for Justice Gajendra Khatgar. He said, come on, let us get the books and verify. The books were brought from the library, the judges saw them, and as Justice Bachawat pointed out, there was the decision of the Privy Council, and exactly as Mr. Vishwanath Shastri said, there was the comment in Halsbury's laws. So this is the kind of tradition, this is the kind of preparation, this is the kind of learning that we had on both sides, the bar and the bench. And we are inheritors of such great legacy. And I would appeal to you that you continue to imbibe these traditions, to be inspired by such legacy, and keep with you always the company of great thoughts, the inspiration of great ideals, the example of great achievements, the consolation of great failures. So much so that the buffets of fortune would not sway you. It may touch you, but you will not be swayed. Life is a very vast thing. And as Justice Chagla said, we must be able to see the stars and aim at the stars so that we may fall on the treetops. But if our sights are only on the treetops, we may fall only into the gutters, which we cannot afford to do. And therefore, I have immense pleasure in wishing all the law students, the participants, participation is very important, winning is incidental, and all of them I know have done a good job. It's nice to be in the company of the young and to dream once more that you are young. And therefore, it's the warmest congratulations to the participants and to the winners, whomever they be, as you would announce, and even more to the organizers, the Christ Academy Institute of Law, for organizing this event and making it very successful. Thank you very much for your patience and courtesy.
We are indebted to Sir, and we hope that we continue the tradition to the mantle of student of law. With this, we come closer to the moment of truth. It has been a grueling and well-fought competition. The competition may have been moot, but the hard work and skill on show have been concrete. Out of the numerous participating teams, winners will be declared in the following categories: Best Memorial, Best Speaker, Best Team, and Runner-up Best Team. I take up this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Ambika Constructions and Contractors, and its CEO, Mr. Pravesh Kuripalli, for sponsoring the prize and a prize amount for the winners. I want to congratulate all the participants who deserve a pat on their backs. There can only be a handful of winners. So, without any further ado, let us go forward to the result declaration. I request Mr. Sudesh Pai to declare the winner as it is being shown on the screen.
I'm happy to announce the best memorial team, team number 27, School of Law, Manipal University, Jaipur.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to team number 27. You've done a great job.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now, I request Honorable Justice N. Kumar to declare the best speaker in this competition by looking at the screen.
Best speaker, Godwin Anthony, Bharata Mata School of Legal Studies. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Congratulations, and your efforts and skills have paid off. Now, I finally request Honorable Justice Devadas to declare the best team of this competition. Sir, the result is on the screen. Your Lordship, the result is on the screen.
Congratulations to the winner, Bangalore Institute of Legal Studies, Bengaluru. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Also, Your Lordship, the runners-up for the best team prize.
The runner-up is team code number 30, Rajiv Gandhi Institute, University of Law, Punjab. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
so much, sir.
A hearty congratulations to all the winners, and for also congratulations to everyone else who has participated. It has been a great journey for all of us as hosts, and thank you so much for turning up the mettle of the show. With this, I call upon Mr. Kushal R., representative, Students Bar Association of CAIL, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jaren. A very good evening to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. As we conclude the first Christ Academy Institute of Law National Moot Court Competition 2021. Firstly, we thank God Almighty for making this online event a resounding success. On behalf of the entire Christ Academy Institute of Law, I extend our gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice R. Devadas for agreeing to be part of this event and gracing us, Your Lordship. We thank
you so much. Thank you.
We thank Honorable Justice N. Kumar for the constant support in all our endeavors. Thank you, beloved Justice. We thank Mr. Sudhish Pai for being with us today and showering us with wealth knowledge. Thank you, sir. In absentia, we thank Dr. P. Joseph P. Wardis, former Vice Chairman, Central Administrative Tribunal, and a member of our advisory board, for being an integral part of CAIL and for being present throughout the competition. In absentia, we convey our gratitude to Dr. Sairam Bhatt, Professor of Law, NLSIU, Dr. Shiju M.V., Professor of Law, Sai University, Mr. Jagjit Singh, Additional District and Section Judge, Chandigarh, and Mr. Jahangir Bakshi, Sub-Judge and Special Mobile Magistrate, Uttarakhand, Kashmir, and all the judges for adjudicating the preliminary and semi-final rounds of the moot court competition. We extend our gratitude to Reverend Father Babu Paul, Reverend Father Joyce, Reverend Father Viju, for supporting us throughout the organization of this event. We sincerely thank our principal, Reverend Father Dr. Davis Panadi, for his leadership, support, and commitment towards ensuring that the students of Christ Academy Institute of Law continue to get exposure in the legal field through such events, even during the time of this pandemic. Thank you, Father. We also thank Advocate Abu, Advocate Varun, for their significant contribution in evaluating the memorial. We thank Ms. Jasmine Joseph, Academic Coordinator, and all members of our faculty for constantly pushing us to do better. We extend a heartfelt appreciation for all the faculty and student members, volunteers, and court clerks of the CAIL Moot Court Committee for spearheading this 3-day event with enthusiasm and efficiency. For an online event, nothing can be managed without an efficient team constantly providing the IT infrastructure and backend support. Therefore, we thank the media houses for the publication and Mr. Smith the IT administrator, Mr. Azil, photographer designer, Mr. Jyoti, office superintendent, Mr. Dilip, office staff, Mr. George, facilities officer, and all our technical and non-technical support staff for helping us cruise through this 3-day event without no teachers. Lastly, thank you all participants for your enthusiastic participation and patience with us. We hope that was a memorable experience for you and one that will make you join us again in the upcoming year. Thank you, audience, for your cooperation in making this event a successful one. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Vishal. Mr. Lordship. Your Lordship. With that, we come to the end of this edition of the Christ Academy Institute of Law National Moot Court Competition. We hope all the participants have enjoyed themselves and had a fruitful mooting experience. We wish all of you the best wishes for your future. I request everyone to rise for the college anthem followed by the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Once again, thank you everyone for being part of the valedictory ceremony. We hope to see you again at the next edition of this competition. Thank you. You may now leave the floor.